Welcome to 155, a podcast of Boot Poop Songs. I'm Sam Sutherland.
What was that? What was that supposed to be?
I don't know. I just figured in my mind this is going to be like a very Canadian episode. I kind of wanted to lean into it in a real like cheeky, Jonathan Torrens kind of way.
Remember when we all wanted to be Jonathan Torrens?
I still do.
Why didn't we aim higher in this life of ours?
That is, it kind of explains a lot that we were like, wait, so this guy hosts a talk show for teens and he gets high school bands to play on it. That is the life for me. And I'm still disappointed that it was never realized.
That is basically our show, but with like bands of 35-year-olds. So
fuck, it's true, eh?
And it's not a job.
Yeah. Well, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars.
And my name is Josiah Hughes, and today is a very special episode, near and dear to my heart. We are talking
You're
about.
Nervous. You're shaking.
This is the most not Jonathan Torrens, but probably what I imagine the Vinyls Cafe is like, sharing stories about your life related to vinyls music.
This is it. I'm Stuart McLean.
Because
I'm a ghost.
Today,
spooky.
We are talking about actually one time CBC Radio 3, some airplay, I believe. My dear friends, probably I think other than things I've been involved in and the importance that has, I think this is one of the top 2 or 3 most important bands of my entire life that we're talking about today. This is the band that makes me feel like I'm looking back on my childhood like it's a teen movie. Like this, I feel like I'm coming of age all the time. I'm about to come of age whenever we talk about this, because it's seriously a very important, very, very like iconic band to me. And I think some other people. We're talking about Fun 100, Abbotsford's unsung heroes. We're talking about their song Roger and Me. I guess before we get into it, Sam, I would assume that you've probably never heard Fun 100 until today. Maybe? Yeah,
in the same way that last week you listened to Taking Back Sunday for the first time, Fun 100 exists as like stories from you and others to me. So this was my introduction. So I feel like I also came of age, had to do some cleanup right before we started to prepare for this episode.
So what did you think? You heard the song Roger.
It's fucking awesome. Like it obviously is fucking sick. Like any song that just starts like that, like just the like drum opening and just like highly vibey. I can imagine that in a live setting being great. And it seems like one of those things where in like your first band, you would start to do that. Like just be like, well, we're jamming. Like, what if we had a song that fucking started like this? And then I did kind of wonder if the song would like sustain the energy of those first 30 seconds, but it obviously does. And then the bridge and like all the guitar shit that happens is fucking awesome. And it made me miss Michael Moore.
Growing up in
Abbotsford.
It made you miss growing up in Abbotsford with us.
It made me specifically miss those memories that I hold so dear to me. And it definitely made me feel like we've done a lot of this when we've shared things with each other that meant more to one of us than the other, where you're like, oh, I can see how if I heard this when I was like 16, this would really resonate or whatever. And this is like one of the most like, I think in some ways this is maybe comparable to like the way you felt about it. And I was sort of unfamiliar with a band like Mika Miko. That sort of occupies like not the same territory, but like there's some overlap in the Venn diagram, I think, of what these bands are doing, where I was like, okay, yeah, in the end, I get it. Whereas like this, I was like, oh my God, if this had been like the band in Toronto or the band in Etobicoke or whatever, not that Etobicoke had a band, it would have been fucking sick. Cause like literally more than anything, I just feel like if you were at a show and you were a young person and those drums started and the song started, I can just picture myself like elevating and ascending into heaven.
Well, we'll
and
get.
how
I mean,
fucking sick and perfect that would be.
we are literally going to do that later, and it's going to be incredible. And I'm probably going to
Is
cry.
this a Fun 100 a Christian band? Is this like the Fun 100 Club or whatever?
Well, actually, Fun 100 was like definitely a youth group band, and this is like I think the closest thing to nepotism on here because, I mean, they're basically family to me, honestly. It was like, you know, in Abbotsford in the very, very early 2000s, maybe even the year 2000, is when I first, I like Ryan, the singer of Fun 100, and his brother Bruce, they later played in Beelines together. They've both been on the pod before, either by being mentioned multiple times like Bruce or just actually being on it like Ryan, including this week. I'm going to go ahead and give it away that he's going to be here this week. But
Ooh, spoily.
But I remember I think I remember seeing them at Sealand Hall because living in Abbotsford, you would make like the 80-minute drive to North Van to go to a hall show because most of the halls, like there were some halls in like Cloverdale and Langley. There wasn't really any hall. There wasn't really any hall shows in Abbotsford. I put one on, I remember when I was in like grade 8 and my very pretentious fake Godspeed band that I think I talked about last week, or maybe that was in the deleted episode, but I had this really fake, pretentious Godspeed style band called Ministry of Love with an asterisk at the end. And the asterisk like signified vibes or something.
Yes.
And it was like me and Jason, who was later in the band You Say Party, We Say Die, who we'll also talk about this week. And like a bunch of people from youth group. I can't remember who was all in it. There was like 10 of us, and there was like Moogs and Glockenspiels and shit. Anyways, that was like my first band. And then we kind of we're like, I don't really feel like hauling all this equipment around. And plus like half of the people in our band didn't even know what style of music we were playing. They just like were people I knew from the basketball team in grade 8 or something. I was like trying to force to be in a Ministry of Love type of band. So then after that, my brother Johnny and I were really into like the Locust and Tooth and Nail type stuff. And we were really into Bullshit Zine, which was a zine that Ryan made that did cover like Tooth and Nail, Tom Fest kind of stuff, but then also like, you know, normal punk writ large. And it was just like the name was Bullshit. It was a really funny zine. And so through the zine, we became friends. And then we were kind of like, I think we were kind of inseparable for our entire teen years. Like we would just always hang out with the Dyck brothers. That's Bruce and Ryan. And then, but it was like totally pretty much bone sober hanging out and just like,
you wouldn't have a
1.5
beer.
No, that was
1.5 beer.
That was later when I had 1.5 beer, but we would just like,
you just smacked off of that 1.5.
We would like dumpster dive. I remember we got a tip that the Old Dutch warehouse by the town cinema in Abbotsford had like no lock on it, so we'd go like dumpster dive old ketchup chips and eat them and throw them everywhere. And we would like, I remember we would dumpster dive and get fluorescent light bulbs and then throw them in the air and they would smash and like this cloud of this dust of like electricity would go in the air. And my favorite memory that I think I've only mentioned once before on a stream, I think I did a fact check because I don't want to repeat myself too much, but like my friend Nathan, who was also in Fun 100, we used to just always like climb on top of the rooftops of downtown Abbotsford all the time. Like every weekend, if we were bored, we would just like go climb on top of the roof of downtown Abbotsford. And my friend Lisa, who listens to the pod, she went to my high school, Yale Secondary School. She worked at Hemingway's Books.
Oh, yeah, you're a Yale man.
And I remember I was trying to get into graffiti one year, and I just like spray painted at the back of Hemingway's books, like just my name in all capital letters, and it was so obviously me. And she was like, "That was."
Wait, you didn't have
like
you didn't have a tag, like you were just
I didn't
Josiah.
I just wrote Josiah with like a crayon on it because I was like King Josiah from the Bible. I think was what I was thinking.
Do you have any photos of your short-lived career as a graffiti artist?
Me and Oates, who also listens to the or I mean has a lot of friends who listen. I don't think Oates actually listens, but she's come up before as the one punk person at Yale in our hacky sack circle, for those keeping track at home. But we spray painted on Galaxy Bowl one time. We spray painted the phrase "friggin' Galaxy Bruce," and that was a reference to Bruce from Fun 100. But my favorite memory with the Fun 100 boys was climbing on the roofs of downtown Abbotsford. And like, it's like one of those things where if you're in a small town, you learn these like urban legends of like little pranks and japes you can do. And this guy named Jeff Siemens, very pod name, Seaman. He had told us that if you
definitely an invented character for sure.
That's what I mean. When I think back to all these times, I feel like I was in like a pretty boring but pretty awesome coming of age, like a more mediocre, like an afternoon TV movie version of Stand By Me, where there's no dead bodies and like probably no one cares except the people. But anyways, we climbed on the roof downtown Abbotsford because Jeff Siemens had told us, and so my brother Johnny was down below, I think with Mr. Seaman himself. And if you take chargers that you can use to like booster cables for cars, and if you connect either side to a railroad track, it makes the traffic stopper come down. And so like there was like 8 of us on the roofs, and then way down below, my brother and Seaman Maine were making the traffic stopper go down, and we seriously stopped traffic for like 90 minutes, and there was all these cars. Like it was like a huge traffic jam. And then
are you describing like something that actually happened to you, or are you describing like scenes from a Richard Linklater film?
It's both. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's literally
wild.
both. It actually, this did happen. And so we caused this huge traffic jam, and then like the traffic thing came up, and my brother realized that it had come disconnected, or you had to keep moving it or something, so he moved it, and then it went down again. But in that time, a truck had like half driven through, and then it went down on top of it. So we were all like giggling like crazy, and then we all piled into my parents' Mazda MPV, and then there was just like 100 cop cars downtown. Probably there was 3, but in my mind it was 100. And we just like kept driving and just sort of tried to look our most innocent, and we got away with it. But then when I got home, my mom was like, "I'm so glad that you're home, because I realized I forgot to renew the insurance on the van." So it was like uninsured. We would have been so fucked. And then another time,
I'm also sort of picturing this, like you guys all pile in, and it's basically the opening scene in Drive. You know, like you're being very cool about it. You sort of back into a parking garage right as the Abbotsford Alouettes game. Let's say what are the local teams?
The Pilots.
The Abbotsford Pilots.
Yeah, baby. Because of the air show.
That?
It's hockey. Because there's the Abbotsford Air Show there, which we'll get to in a second. But
oh, shit. Okay, I'm so glad we're going to cover the Abbotsford Air Show.
And the Berry Festival, we probably won't talk about, but shout out to the Berry Festival, too. And
love berries.
Another time, we all piled into Nathan's car, and Nathan was briefly a member of Fun 100 and recently got married. I don't know. I don't talk about Nathan nearly enough on the pod, but shout out to Nathan. My homie, I love you. But
shout out Nathan.
We all piled into his car. I'm pretty sure Bruce and Ryan were there, and we had like another like epic, completely sober Richard Linklater ass night where we hopped the fence at Castle Fun Park, which is a very legendary place in Abbotsford. It's like a sort of like it's kind of like the I can't remember what it's called, but like the Karate Kid mini golf place in the Karate Kid, or it's like
right.
It's like
it's
outdoor,
Adventureland.
It's outdoor mini golf, and then there's like there's like arcade games and stuff, and it's where like youth group kids go to make out and try to look for quarters and that have fallen on the floor, and then probably finger each other with nasty finger. Like, it's just like, you know, it's like it's
nasty quarter fingers.
It's a teen movie place, but we hopped the fence like at 1 a.m. because we had brought one of their dad's golf clubs, so we just like did a full game of golf,
a full round,
of the night,
an illicit round,
and then we pissed in the holes, of course. And then we broke into an abandoned restaurant.
Now I'm not
downtown.
Impressed.
We broke into an abandoned restaurant after, and it was one of those nights where it was like 100 things in a row. Where it just anyway. So that was kind of the vibe that went into
being a teen. Rule. How old are you, by the way, when you're living out this indie movie?
Like probably 16 or 17. But at the same time,
oh my God,
we were playing music as like the Christian the Locust / Converge in the hand. And we were always playing shows with Fun 100 everywhere, all through Lower Mainland. And I'm sure people thought we were snobs because we were just like, instead of like doing whatever you might do at a show, we were just always goofing around in the parking lot. Like, just it was just like we were. Well,
there's no better place at a show than not being at the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I do feel like I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the trailers. This is the plot of Licorice Pizza, right?
I think it might be. I think that might be based off of my own personal life.
Are you the Haim sister that is in?
I'm the Haim sister with the nipples coming out. That's me.
Right. They've done the sort of gender swapped Abbotsford movie.
That is clearly like
Lady the Hand.
Did they like CGI the nipples onto that after? Because those nipples are so prominent on that poster.
I'll be honest. I'm not trying to be anything, but I can't picture. I'm now going to just look up the Licorice Pizza nipples. I'm just going to at least look at the poster. I'll give you my assessment.
Don't get distracted while we're trying to do this episode.
I know this is important.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, the thing is, at some point, and I've written about Fun 100 so much. Well, like, not really, but I've written a few articles about Fun 100 too, where it's like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this band was at the center of everything, because the Hand was like, I mean, we were sick as hell, but we were not like Fun 100 was writing like iconic pop music to define the moment. And it was like,
I've heard the Hand. The Hand is also a band.
All right. We don't need your fucking music.
No, but I get it. I will say this. It's like the Hand fucking rocks. The Hand definitely like sounds like that, like many of our bands at that time. It's like, it sounds like that era. And I know what you were listening to, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like Fun 100 legitimately, listening to this, I was like, this is not just your nostalgia. Like, I have no nostalgia goggles for this, and it's so objectively fucking great.
Exactly. And it brings together so many things of the moment, I think, because...
And I genuinely don't mean that in a even a comedically, like, knock on you way.
Well, you know what? I'm emotional right now. And the fact that you would even say anything negative about the Christian metalcore band I had when I was 16.
You're right. That was insensitive of me, for sure.
No, I think it's because Fun 100 tied together so many disparate things of the moment. Like, this was very, very early on of people being interested in synths, and there's synths in there. There's like so much cut and paste aesthetically and lyrically. Every song is like about a TV show or a movie. And just like, I feel like revisiting Fun 100, I always feel like I'm going back to my favorite thrift store, and there's just like piles of ideas everywhere. But it's also just like, there's so much singing along. So I want to like break down why I wanted to choose Roger and Me. And I want to get into it more and break it down. But I think the most interesting thing is that we're finally doing like the most Abbotsford episode yet. And this week, because of mudslides. I mean, there was
none. Like, I would say, could this episode be any more Abbotsford? The answer is none more Abbotsford. Like, I do challenge you to.
Well, exactly. I mean, exactly. But the thing is, there also might be none more Abbotsford, because literally Abbotsford is like underwater, like as of yesterday. Like, there's been a huge mudslide. And
no, Abbotsford. Let's take a look at this. Get rid of these nipples. Oh man, Abbotsford flooding. Oh no.
It's fucked. There's at least one casualty, and like the city's been evacuated.
Heavy rains around the lower mainland
I don't
have
mean
led
this
to
at
intense
all.
flooding in Abbotsford, where some streets
This is not meant to be glib whatsoever. But isn't one of the like Travis Barker boys from Abbotsford? And didn't he make a video showing off his basement apartment? But you guys call it like a garden view or something?
It's like a common misconception, but he's from Mission, which is like not quite. It's not really Abbotsford.
104. Okay. Are on alert. So he's fine, whatever his name is.
He's from the other side of the bridge. I don't know if Mission will be affected,
actually. On this street
actually.
by Fish Trap Creek, where city engineers were pumping out the sewers.
But I mean...
we're not getting out the sanitary system.
I trudged through ankle-deep water to speak with someone who was getting ready to evacuate
the
flooded home.
He trudged.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Hey, Sylvia.
I mean...
I would hate it where I was living flooded. It would be such
maybe I can get up to you
somehow,
somehow,
it's fucked. And actually...
let me just walk around here.
Harold, shout out Harold, sent me a photo.
This is our backyard, and
that
we
is
just took out all the beautiful dahlias and
from a helicopter.
gorgeous
I'll send it to you
flowers
on.
and
Oh shit! One time I had a buddy. He's got a cabin in Tweed, Ontario, like maybe 2.5, 3 hours outside of Toronto, and it flooded. Like the river came up super high at the sort of end of the winter, and the water went right up to his door. Like they know they're on a floodplain, so it was sort of designed to withstand that. But we had to canoe like from the road into his place.
Oh my God. Well,
flooding is,
as I just showed you, Abbotsford is basically gone. Like the entire Coquihalla Highway is gone. Shout out Chicks Dig It, another great Western Canadian pop punk band. But as you can see, on the right hand side, Castle Fun Park has survived. So
okay, thank God it was above ground. That's good. So they can rebuild the city around Castle Fun Park. I'm so glad that still exists because, like, Sauble Beach, great, it's not in Abbotsford, but a great sort of like American style honky tonk beach town, out in Grey Bruce County, just outside of Toronto. There was this like seemingly very similar, like, but decaying kind of like fun park on the edge of the city that has been abandoned for years. And finally they bulldozed. They're putting in like a senior's home or something. It's fucking depressing. Like all those places are basically gone now because kids rather play their Oculus games and play Fortnite, and PUBG. Do kids still play PUBG? So I'm glad that Castle Fun Park
has actually been featured in quite a many films.
Wow, Castle Fun Park has 4.5
Secret Millionaire
stars on Google. People love it.
Dater's Handbook, Pants on Fire.
Dater's Handbook?
I think there's been some better movies filmed there, but those are the ones that they mention on their website. Maybe that's what they're allowed. But, before Abbotsford was underwater.
Yeah, you're right, because Vancouver is Hollywood North, which is also, Toronto.
Mm-hmm. And also Abbotsford is not quite Vancouver. And that's kind of the whole point. And that's why we were just pissing in golf holes and breaking into abandoned restaurants and getting into all kinds of trouble. Meanwhile, Abbotsford is very well known for its air show. I just wanted to play some of this because I found this video from 1985.
Welcome to the 1985 Abbotsford International Air Show. I shot this back in 1985 using a Sony SL2000 portable beta pack and an.
Is this like actually is this a bigger deal than say like the Toronto Air Show? Just for
I don't really like the thing. The thing is, I don't know anything about Toronto at all, other than I don't like it.
Now the big difference between a conventional
there's nothing in Abbotsford, but the air show is something that they take very seriously. But
was the way that the color was processed.
You'll hear this guy conventional. Has a very Mennonite accent. There's a lot of Mennonites in Abbotsford.
Or whether it's a Satacon or a Nuvicon.
And Ryan was just telling me, I sent him this video earlier, and he said he was never allowed to go to the air show because it was viewed as being this like pro-war thing. Like I guess the story was like all the war arms dealers would buy
a clear filter.
It was like some sort of like schmooze fest for army guys to sell weapons. And that's also why my family never went to the air show. So it's kind of like...
yeah, I mean, people love... the Toronto Air Show happens every year, and everybody loves to... all your favorite types of people love to post about how it's like bad because of war or whatever.
Yeah, so
people are like, I agree. Oh, hold on. This is important, though. I'm pretty sure that the movie that you've disrespected from the lights, camera, action portion of the Castle Fun Park episode outlined some of the. I mean, honestly, yeah, these are B and C tier movies. But one of them, the Dater's Handbook, stars the Queen herself, Meghan Markle.
Oh my God!
And there's a scene of her pissing, like partying in the golf course that you just described, which I feel like we should watch. Right?
Please, yeah, throw it in there.
Okay. Do you want me to start it? Do you want to keep watching the air show right now?
I mean, I do kind of want to watch this full 2-hour air show, but I can do that on my own time if you want.
Okay, well we can come back to that here. I'm just gonna put in the Meghan Markle. How do you feel about Meghan Markle, by the way? Do you think she's trapping Harry? What's your
I don't want to say anything too major because I think she is neighbors with Nate. So this is some sort of like not in English.
Yeah, I think this is a Hallmark movie, and the only way that it's on YouTube right now is because it is dubbed into a different language. It appears.
Oh yeah, there we go. But
yeah, so here, this is Meghan Markle in the golf course that you just broke into and pissed. Did you piss in this hole? And Meghan Markle's going to stick her hand in your piss.
To be clear, he's talking about the golf I can't tell because there's an indoor golf course there too.
This looks outdoors. This is extreme. Look at the foliage.
Look at that's fake foliage, Sam. You're being tricked by Hollywood again. This is the indoor one. I've definitely driven the golf ball to impress my youth group in here and fired it across the thing. I was such a little shit, even more so than now. Imagine, me having the same kind of outlook and immaturity that I have now, but then also being really hyper. That's how awful I was back then. I was just the most slappable person on earth, I think. But that's okay. I mean,
I just want to say I would never slap. Have you ever been slapped?
I think I definitely have. Probably.
You think you've been slapped?
I think I've been slapped on the schoolyard for just talking shit to someone, and then I was
really?
I think I think that happened to me in Scotland. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to unpack that.
The Scottish do seem like slappers.
So while we're talking about anti-imperial, anti-war, anti-Meghan, I don't know if I'm fully anti because they do live near Nate, and I don't want to burn any bridges in case.
So you're worried that Nate's going to be listening to this. Nate doesn't even care about this podcast.
I know. I'm just saying, in case
what he's going to be playing this too loud while doing the dishes or something.
Or or maybe I'll be visiting, and then he'll be like, "Oh, by the way, I invited them over for high tea." And
I was going to invite them over, but I'm not because once again, he hasn't heard this. We can say whatever we want about Nate. I think both Nate and Meghan Markle are a stain on America.
I always get Meghan Markle confused with Angela Merkel. Is that her name?
Yeah, they're the same. They are Angela Merkel married Prince Harry.
So while we're talking about this stuff, I do think From 100 have songs about Home Alone. And about, I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank right now. But they have all. Oh my God, I forgot something.
Home Alone and Michael Moore, the only things that matter.
Yeah, but they do have other songs about other TV and movies. I think.
I believe you, but I'm not going to be able to help you out here.
But I just thought, I thought it was really hilarious to have. I feel like that's ahead of its time to have this song that's about the Michael Moore movie Roger and Me, and not only that, but I feel like. This was peak era of Roger and Me. When this song came out, I feel sure we were kind of aware of Michael Moore. I don't even know if Bowling for Columbine had blown the fuck up yet. It probably did. Maybe I'm getting my timeline wrong. But
sorry. Wait. So when did this song come out?
Let me see. From 100, Hit It and Quit is the album, the CD that they put out, 2005. So maybe.
Yeah, so Bowling for Columbine 2002, but
okay.
Roger and Me is still the demo tape.
Roger and Me is the demo tape, and that's what I mean. I feel like this is some highbrow Adbusters ass referencing, and I actually was thinking about it more, and I really do think that Michael Moore is kind of the Blink-182 of leftism. He's kind of the mall punk of being a leftist.
Oh yeah.
And so not only
because it would be Adbusters, but Adbusters is so there's almost nothing redeeming about it. It's I feel like Adbusters is the mess of contemporary leftism.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Roger and Me is absolutely the damn it of the situation too. So I think we should watch the trailer for Roger and Me, which I haven't seen in forever, but I just I know for a fact, even though I've never asked him about it, I can guarantee Ryan wrote this song because of the VHS, which has such an iconic cover and was probably everywhere in a thrift store. And it's I just remember watching cool shit with Ryan and Bruce all the time, seeing Ali G for the first time at their house. We were just I don't know. It was just such a great
remember
time.
The first time you saw Ali G at someone's house?
Yeah, it was so sick.
I married that person. I was.
That's so cool.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
This movie
4.
probably fucking rocks.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We're rolling.
Look at that font.
Hi, I'm Michael Moore. In my hometown of Flint, Michigan, General Motors closed the factories and put 30,000
I wish he
people
still
out of work.
talked like this.
To raise their spirits, I made this movie.
My family used to watch TV Nation every week.
Oh, TV Nation fucking ruled.
It was
Went off
so
to find
good.
GM chairman
And
Roger
then my dad
Smith
took me to
get
a
some
screening
answers.
of the big one. I think at the library. And that movie was so sick too. If anything,
I feel
Bowling for
Boy,
Columbine
was he
blowing
hard
up
to
was
get
almost
to.
like
We're
here's
gonna
all
have
the
to
small
ask you
things.
to
Like now he's in a corner.
That's all blended.
He could have just been like a chill,
I really
like
don't know. On the sidewalk.
I don't think we've
almost
met.
like Mark Borchardt type of
Not
guy.
in.
I don't understand.
I miss when documentaries looked like this, though.
So while looking for Roger, I got to know some of the people.
There's
in my
there's
hometown
no
a bit better.
long, lingering
Like
drone
Deputy Fred.
shots.
I treat a person the way I would like to be treated. Sheriff's Department.
And I met a neighbor or two.
I was color analyzed by someone in the IMS line, who are the people who taught me to do colors, and I've discovered that I am another season.
Talked to a PR guy at GM.
Color guy is an automobile.
This is just
This
like,
is so good.
This is the spirit of like Mad Magazine, Fun 100. This is my whole. I feel like this episode, this song is really my life's thesis statement. All these things at once, just like some wacky guy trying to change the damn world by goofing around was what I think of as Michael Moore back then.
Did Canadian Bacon come out before Bowling for Columbine?
I think it did.
I guess that makes sense.
Oh, that movie's so sick too. But anyways, there was another Fun 100 song I was considering because Hit It and Quit is like an incredible, iconic album that is huge for like 25 people in Western Canada. But like, and I think that's also why I love Fun 100 is like I'm just addicted to the underdog status and I'm addicted to the legend of like, knowing that it never really did hit, even though it was like huge. But they had this song Computer that was on the Fun 100, The Hand Split, along with Kimmy Gibbler Is My Girlfriend, and what's the other song called? It has a funny name. Whatever. Anyways, There Goes the Sun was the other one. That's right. Computer was like kind of their attempt at like new wave, and it was very simple. It's kind of like the hit that is like really the least important Fun 100 song.
Okay, yeah.
But it does have the phrase log on to www.ryan.com and you can download my thoughts, which I've always loved because of the typo in the lyrics, because it should be www. That's always blown my mind. I really do think Fun 100 got better and better. The Goodbye EP is incredible, and it has a song called Ghetto Mall, which, you can imagine what it's about. But the thing is, that's actually their song that had the most legs. And I'm going to show you something. If you know the song, you'll know, but it was actually featured
Furniture.
in a trailer for a Will Sasso movie.
All your furniture and moving needs.
What?
Years ago.
Anywhere else. Isn't that right, little buddy?
I bet you this movie rocks if they have Fun 100 in the trailer.
Oh man, I'd give anything to work for the city.
They start off $16 an hour.
They make $16.
What's the name of this movie?
Moving
That
Day.
is a dream job.
Okay.
All right, break time.
Meet Clyde.
He's stuck in his job.
Would you like one?
Thank you very much.
Watch your fingers.
Oh my God. I bet you this movie's so good.
You know what?
There's no way this movie doesn't rule.
Because we are fully bonded and
Mr.
Look
V
at this!
is in
Look
it?
at this cast.
Dude, the whole thing is on YouTube. We got to watch it. Maybe we should do it as exclusive.
Like you got
We can't have this.
Will Sasso, you got Charlie Murphy,
Turtle.
Mr. D,
And
that
they're
guy,
eating
that
turtles.
Canadian guy who's in everything. What is
Turtles-
that? Victor Garber.
Turtles are a Canadian snack, aren't they?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Wait,
the kids wanna
when
say
it
hi.
drop, like it's the literal needle drop in this
The
trailer.
14th and
It's Fun 100 song.
15th. Make sure you get the time off work.
No, Clyde, I can't. We really need you to work that weekend.
Oh, that lady's from
The
something.
lady from Quarter Gas.
Continue busting your ass for no money.
I don't want to work at Rebens forever.
We're gonna move the love seat to Halifax
My favorite thing
today.
about Canadian movies is that they just get like whatever American celebrities. Is this it?
There's a dirty friggin' street dog after the chicken.
Here we
Come
go.
on, man. Craziest dream last night, man. We were rocking
This is
out.
100.
Like I was like, do, do, do,
Clap, come on, clap. Smoked pork chops and sauerkraut. Lord bless this food I'm about to.
This has such a huge chorus.
Hey, Wilf, just checking up on you, AJ. You drinking?
No, absolutely not, sir. That's absurd.
Also, they didn't bleep when he says at least the homeless people have a place to shit.
The rock and roll tone, there's Bieber, and then Dr. Phil, and then you're like here.
It's gonna be a good day. Hear me? Good day.
Mattresses are blown.
Wow, the city is hiring.
I'm gonna go work with those guys
mean-
and do nothing for the rest of my life.
I'm happy for you, man.
Oh,
So So Fun 100, I mean, that was after they were done, but they had
that song obviously right. Yeah, 2012. But again, a true like I do think it's worth pointing out that this is like the most. This is literally the only way movies get made in this country. Is you're like, I don't know, Will Sasso and Charlie Murphy, and then everyone else is from a CBC sitcom.
But here's the thing: this one actually looks way better than most of them. Like,
it does. Well, let's see.
There is some pretty good slapstick in there.
Well, critical reception. Moving Day has garnered criticism from the Canadian film critic community. Chris Knight of the National Post rated Moving Day 1.5 stars, one and a half star. He wrote, "Nothing ever gets too crazy in Moving Day." Okay, who cares? Pat Mullen from cinemablogographer.com gave it 2 out of 5. Called it embarrassingly unfunny. Exclaims Kevin Scott. Do you know Kevin Scott?
I think that guy was before me. He always hated everything. I'm just going to play Get 'Em All in the background while you read these reviews.
Do it. He said the supporting roles are all well cast and considered. So he loved all the CBC alum. The story meanders as momentum. It's apparently there was a native of Nova Scotia. It has special meaning for the people of Clattenburg.
Just gotta get to the chorus because this is.
It sounds like it was basically like a really ham-handed attempt for Mike Clattenburg, who helped create Trailer Park Boys, to do like a Judd Apatow movie, basically.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
this is a fucking great song.
Fun 100 just became like a sick. Eventually, what I'm trying to say is. We'll ask Ryan about the origin of Fun 100 later, but basically Fun 100 started as like playing terrible church basement shows, and their guitarist was like our age now at the time. And I was there when they had to kick him out of the phone because they're like, we don't want to have an old man in the band anymore because they were all like 17.
How did that song end up in a C-list Canadian Apatow knockoff comedy?
I'm 75% certain that the trailer was edited by a mutual friend. Ryan was later in a band called The Bloggers, who are another like absolutely legendary unsung hero band. All my favorite bands are
cinemabloggraphers.com. Yeah.
Yeah. This band, The Bloggers, they would record every practice and improvise everything and then turn it into a song after, and then they would improvise vocals. But it's like it all sounds like Pavement. I think we've played them on the pod before, actually. They've released like over 1,000 songs. But anyways, the guy from The Bloggers, I'm pretty sure I think he edited that trailer, and he now edits How To with John Wilson. So, I mean,
oh wow,
there's a lot. It's fertile ground. The Fun 100 verse.
Incredible. Yeah. The Fun 100 verse is deep.
So yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to point out is that like Fun 100 started with these humble beginnings, but the idea of them just being called Fun 100 was so iconic too. But yeah, like they had this on Computer, which was kind of like, mediocre, but got played on CBC Radio 3 a little bit. And then they just kind of got sicker and sicker and sicker. And the Goodbye EP is just like absolutely mind-blowing power pop that happens to have synths. Like it doesn't sound like synth punk. It doesn't sound dated because it's not synth punk. It's just like power pop that happens to have synth. But so the reason that Fun 100 is called Fun 100 is because Ryan, and I think quite a bit of the Dyck family actually worked at an infamous Abbotsford grocery store called Funk's Foods. Funk's Feed Supply and Grocery Store, Yarrow and Abbotsford, BC. So it was founded by the Funk family, which is another Mennonite name. They had this grocery store in Clearbrook, which you'll see the second photo on this wiki, is the original Funk's, but it was like around for all of our teen years too. And I think Fun 100 even did a photo shoot in there. But anyways, I think it was the recycling bags when they would receive bottles and cans, they would label them that it was a full bag by putting a sticker on it that said FUN and then 100 underneath. And so Ryan was like, why don't I just name my band Fun 100 and then I'll have stickers automatically. So we used to just always have like these iconic blue stickers that said Fun 100 on them. And so the band was called that in order to have the stickers all along. So, I mean, that's some Abbotsford shit right there.
That's pretty good. That's some good reverse engineering. I like that. I want one of those stickers. Can I get one? Can I get a sticker? Like what's the
I think
status?
They're all long gone, but I'm hoping by the time this comes out, I'll have received a scan so that I can make it say Fun 155. Obviously that needs to happen.
Of course.
The other bit of backstory is like one place we would always play was the Burlesque House, which was this house that had shows in Abbotsford. Stu, who ran the John O'Vision fan club and was featured on an episode of John O'Vision in Vancouver because of this fan club, he lived there, and so did Jason, who was also in the Bloggers eventually, but they played in a band called The Progressive Thinker, and The Hand would play there, and Fun 100 would play there. I found one video. It's the Newtown Animals playing there. So this is the Burlesque House in Abbotsford.
Our set tonight goes out to Yosef.
I can, like, seeing this video, I can, like, smell it. I can smell the exact smell of the Burlesque House. But
there's also such a good era for like videography.
Yeah,
like, videography, because it's like everything is still being shot on tape, but it's like shitty cheap tape, and it's not like crappy digital. It just everybody looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. So then Jason and Bruce from Fun 100 and a few other people eventually also started the band, and their first ever show was at Grace Church in the basement, put on by me. The youth pastor and I had started a venue called The Haven in the Grace Church venue. Like, The Hand's first show was upstairs at Grace Church in the youth group room with Fun 100 and Wailing Corpse and The Progressive Thinker. But then eventually we started doing shows in the basement. I put on this band's first show opening for Fun 100. I'm talking about You Say Party, We Say Die.
Hey.
And Bruce was in this band too. They were kind of like, at first, a Fun 100 offshoot. Kind of similar to synth punk kind of stuff, but more dancey. This is their first ever song called The Gap, which was kind of a diss on the store The Gap. And I remember being like, hell yeah, fuck The Gap. But like I said recently, I love their pants. So I'm pro Gap now. But
hating The Gap is like, that's some teenage shit.
The gap between the rich and the poor. So Bruce became very busy playing in this band, and he played in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And he played with the band The Temper Tantrum. He's been in like every band basically, but it was always like coming back to Fun 100, and it was Fun 100 in The Hand, and then the band that I looked up to the most, other than like Fun 100 is like my homies, but who I wanted to be like was the WPP, the Witness Protection Program. They were like the sickest band to ever come out in Abbotsford. And the reason I picked Roger and Me is not just because it has VHS energy, but also because, so the WPP eventually started calling like our whole crew, they would call us the Broncos for some reason. It just became like an inside joke.
I mean, that's so sick. I wish that I had a crew called the fucking Broncos.
I know.
I've never had a crew that had a name.
I just can't believe my life was just like a teen movie. And then like the Triple Threat house party on New Year's Eve that The Hand played at in the WPP house was like the most fucked thing I've ever been. I can't even get into that right now. I'll be talking forever. But yeah, they call us the Broncos. And I feel like if there was anything that kind of defined the Broncos and why I picked this song is it's like a sick outro. Or a sick, like you called it the bridge. Kind of, I guess it is a bridge in the Fun 100
No, the bridge
song.
into the outro is like, because that's when things really go sick.
And eventually, so Nathan, who I mentioned earlier, who shat into a chimney, he was no longer in Fun 100. There's been quite a few lineup changes over the years. Of course, I need to mention Marcus is the synth player in Fun 100, and then Adam F is the guitarist. Bruce and Adam and Ryan eventually started Beelines after Fun 100, but so when Nathan was gone, he was replaced with Steve from the WPP. So then Fun 100, like that's when they really started cooking, because like Steve is the sickest bass player. He plays bass on both of these songs. So anyways, this song by the WPP from their EP Bam Jam, I think is a little bit of a prerequisite for Roger and Me because of the outro. So I'm going to play it's called Leaders Are for Followers. This is like the hit of our era. I don't know why it's fucking... Here we go.
Yeah, because you've talked a lot about this band.
Like, they usually were faster and more kind of messy, but this is like the rock hit.
Yeah, for some reason I thought they were more like white belt.
I know. They kind of are, but they're also like Rye Coalition or something.
Okay. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah. We'll just listen to the whole thing because it's so sick. And they do sing Poncho Buddy Bronco in this, which is a reference to the Broncos. WBP was another band that like fell apart right when it was about to explode. They were like, I feel like whoever's like the hometown hero band never really got as big as their contemporaries. But then the bigger band,
it's always got to be somebody else.
Yeah. So this is just like, oh my god. So this like, there's the bridge.
Yeah, this is fucking sick.
And other than the Broncos reference, all of their lyrics are just like random lines written down from TV. Just like utterly meaningless party music in the best way. Okay, so listen, here we go. This is what I would call a Bronco outro. Imagine like
this is fucking awesome.
Everyone's singing along, doing weird limp-wristed dance movements.
Oh yeah, you could not have a straight wrist to this.
So I think the Roger and Me outro has similar like.
Oh yes,
it's a
absolutely.
part made for the all ages venue to get dancing to or to sing along. I mean. I kind of think that's a Bronco outro, and I think it should come back. But the Hit It and Quit album, so it's kind of like a mix of recordings. Like some Fun 100 was recorded with this guy Jonathan Anderson, who mostly did like very middle of the road in a good way, indie music. Like I don't even know how to describe what it sounded like, but it was like Jonathan Anderson's best known for covering the Innocence Mission, Lakes of Canada. It's like very like professionally recorded. I don't think he had ever recorded a loud electric guitar before this. So he did that. But then like this guy Howard Redekop, who had worked with Tegan and Sarah and stuff, he also heard about Fun 100 and reached out and was like, oh, I want to record you guys. So half of it was with him and half of it's with Jonathan Anderson, I'm pretty sure. And then Nathan's on some of it and Steve's on some of it. But another huge hit from Hit It and Quit is called Hygiene Boy. I'm going to play you a little bit of this and then I'm going to close out the thing that it's all been leading to. So this is Hygiene Boy.
You're tired of these people.
Hygiene Boy is a great title.
On your list. It's time you got your act together. Take control of it. To run from the country.
Is there a reason why the photos of the Canucks? Is this about the Canucks or something?
Well, Fun 100 is basically almost entirely about the Canucks too. Ryan's label Hockey Dead Records, all the catalog numbers were different player numbers of his favorite 94 Canucks, I think, or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know shit about Canucks. But so Hygiene Boy is like another like classic pop punk sing along. So, I mean, I think this is the first time in my life, which, we're coming up on a year anniversary of this version of the pod. A year ago was another time in my life where I felt like, fuck, this is an era of my life is ending and I'm going to have to figure out something else. And that really did happen to me for real when Fun 100 decided they were going to break up and play their last show. And so their last show was at the Mount Pleasant Community Center.
And you still lived in Abbotsford at this time?
No, I lived in, I lived in Vancouver. This was at this point I was already married. This was in 2007. They were they're like, we're getting too old to keep doing this. We're going to play, Beeline's was slightly different. It was pretty similar and very funny and clever and fun and poppy, but still kind of like, I don't know, maybe slightly less geared towards making 17-year-olds dance and more for like 25-year-olds or something. It's more age appropriate, but they were like, we're going to play our last show. It was at the Mount Pleasant Community Center. It was with Sudden Infant Dance Syndrome from Calgary, the Doers, and then this band called the Bad Amps, and then Fun 100 headline. But the Bad Amps were like this Vancouver like Ramones core band. And it was also their last show, and they played for like seriously 90 minutes. And
Hell yeah.
It was terrible. And so it was a community center. It started on Punk Time, which also, like, I know people love to hate on Punk Time, but Punk Time is sick, actually. I think everything.
No, Punk Time fucking sucks. Punk Time is bad.
Is so good. I think life.
We all agreed because of the pandemic that we moved past Punk Time.
No, Punk Time's coming back in a major. I mean, I'm not going to be going to anything ever again, but I think.
Oh, so this is all hypothetical. You want everyone else to just Punk Time Punk Time.
Punk Time was special. I think Punk Time was special. Anyways, there was like these guys that were promoters at the time named Kyle and Cole. There was always on their poster like Kyle and Cole present. Like this is around the time of like everyone who put on a show like was a presenter, you know, like mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. Instead of just being like the FUM 100 the Hand CD release show. I believe it was on October 18th, probably 2002 or 2003. And we had made all these flyers because it was going to be at this one house. Wait, no, it was going to be at Replay Board Shop. And the guy that had said we could do the Replay Board Shop show, WPP was going to play with us. And we had made all these posters and we postered the whole town. And it was like a very hyped thing for Abbotsford. The guy who had said we could do it at Replay Board Shop was like, no, it's not going to happen. And so the day of, we're like, fuck, what are we going to do? And then these hippies from Yale also had their own version of a punk house that was called this, what I just typed to you. I'm not going to say it because it's now considered a slur.
You can't do that.
A Gogol Bordello related slur. That was the name of their shitty, like, fucking hippie venue that I always made fun of. But we're like, fuck, maybe we can do it there. So we asked them, and then, like, I don't know, they were all out of town, or they were like, I don't know, they were just, like, probably giving each other white dreads or something. They're just, like, nasty hippies. So eventually the show happened in Aldergrove, which is like 25 minutes away, at my friend Alex, who I ended up doing Free Punk Lyrics with later. He had this like little upstairs apartment above a pool hall. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is that show changed locations 3 times in one day, and it was such a disaster, but it still happened. FUM 100's last show had the show must go on energy. Kyle and Cole had put it on. This Ramones core band played for like 90 minutes. And then by the time FUM 100 was supposed to start, I guess there was like, someone had smashed a window and people were freaking out and something was going, it just like the show was not going to happen. And so Hygiene Boy, which I just showed you on Hit It and Quit It, goes Hygiene Boy into Roger and Me with those iconic drums you were talking about earlier. That's how they would always do it in their set too. The window was smashed. The show was not going to go on. And this is what happened. Everyone's clapping. I mean, I know pretty much almost every single person in this video. Sarah and I are behind the stage.
Yeah.
This is just... So the PA was turned off because of the window smashed. So there's no PA. FUM 100's all set up, ready to go. My boys are here. There's Marcus. There's Bruce. Oh, it showed me for 1 second, but... So the teens and 21-year-olds are growing impatient. I see Chad. I see Steve.
Take me back.
I see Steve from You Say Party and Jason and Chad.
People are already pushing at the front.
Nathan. So people are pushing. They won't turn the mics on. Oh, there's Jaden. Jaden, I think, eventually was in Living with Lions.
Oh.
I mean, this is like... Everyone's chanting FUM 100 because they won't turn the mics on because of the smashed window. There's me.
So I didn't realize that the synths were keytar based as well.
Yeah, Ryan plays a keytar, and then Marcus played actual collected synths. So
I feel like you should have led with that. Have I forgotten that you said the
no,
the
I didn't,
was...
because that's the thing. Like keytar is like that's what I'm trying to say is like Yes, there was a guitar, but it was actually sick power bop. It wasn't just like some novelty cornball shit.
I see. That's why you didn't want to say it.
I almost forgot. Turn on the mics. Everyone's chanting. The mics are not coming on.
Oh man, what a scary group to have turn against you.
Well, what happened was even better because I see Norm and Darren.
Norm.
Andrew. Froze. Oh, there's Johnny. So everyone's singing Hygiene Boy. So they're just, it's kind of, in fact, I thought of this when we were watching those Fest videos where people just sang without the PA. I just saw Chris Horrific. So everyone's singing Hygiene Boy because they won't turn the mics on.
Oh.
Skinny Tim up there singing. This is so crazy.
This is fucking awesome.
I mean, this is like my own teen movie. Steve playing bass a little bit. So keep in mind, I mean, you don't know the song, but when this ends,
the song Roger and Me starts. This is fucking awesome. This is so magic.
Yeah, I know, it's so good. Playing it quiet. Can't run from the country when you don't do your own laundry. So good. Bask in the glory of our own small town glory.
Handing off the mic stand.
Okay. I know my route. I pick up change and I buy food. I plug my mic. Just to watch this. Thought I'd meet Michael more that way. I mean, this is crazy.
This is fucking amazing.
It's like, why did I ever go to a show after this?
Well, yeah, this is why you never need to go to a show again. Oh my God. This is incredible. You just got to make this into a movie, man. Like, you just got to work on this.
The Broncos, yeah, all about the Broncos.
Oh, the Broncos. I would, at the very least, I would watch the trailer for the Broncos and think, I can't wait to see it. Then I'd like never get around to seeing it.
I mean, we got to get stunt casting. Will Sasso is the man.
Yes. Will Sasso, an all corner gas alumni. Oh my God.
I keep forgetting to talk because I'm just like dying, reliving
just enamored of it? Yeah. Now, did they never turn the mics on?
They unplug everything at the end of this song. But here's this iconic outro. I mean, the outro seems like it was written just for this moment at their final show. It's so good.
This is nuts.
Oh. Oh, I think Steve might have a Locust t-shirt on too.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not really.
Oh, people are just like absolutely.
Darren and Johnny and Matt Day are kind of bumping into
pushing in chaos.
Not their fault, but come on, Matt Day. This is also why I don't like going back to Vancouver, because I want to go back to Vancouver in the early 2000s. So there's a chance that they maybe played one or two more songs before Kyle and Cole straight up unplugged everything and sent it home. But here's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
No, not that. This, though. My first ever Exclaim article was a review of the final Film 100 show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all happening here.
Oh, my God. Okay. Shall we read?
I guess we could. Yeah. I don't remember what it says.
I want to know what you said about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was like, I was in over my head, and I actually felt guilty for writing about my friend's bands in Exclaim before I realized that that's pretty much how it works. So, but.
Well, it's great where you're talking about the Ramones core band. It was charming at first.
Right.
It lasted longer than an hour, and they grew extremely tiresome. Meanwhile, the police had been called. Oh, man.
to an incident involving a broken window and a hospitalized teen. Because of this, the show was declared canceled, and the microphones were shut off as Fun 100 were about
Cancel
to play.
Culture at it again.
Refusing to end their 7-year run on a bad note, the band protested on stage, waiting for permission to play. The impatient crowd eventually started singing Hygiene Boy, a stand-up from their Hit It and Quit album, and the band quickly joined in. This turned into a rowdy 4-song set with vocals handled by the crowd. Lead man Ryan Dyck smashed his guitar in the 3rd song, and a promoter unplugged their amps in the 4th. In this tumultuous burst that lasted maybe 10 minutes, Fun 100 achieved legendary status among all that attended. Though far from conventional, the explosive nature of their last performance was a perfect cap on their time as a band. Ushered to their cars by the cops, everyone went home glowing. It's so epic.
Fuck yes.
I think that's pretty corny what I wrote, but I also think now that you've seen the video,
I think that's honestly understated based on what I saw in that video.
I mean, kind of that's all I want to say about Fun 100 right now. But I mean, that's my band right there. You know what I mean? That's the one for me.
That rules, man. And I'm happy for you.
It's time to log on to www.ryan.com because he's here with us in the flesh. The legendary Ryan Dyck of Fun 100. Welcome back to the pod. I mean, welcome to 155. You've been on Blink 155, but it's your first time in the real world, baby.
Hi, thank you. Yeah.
It's like Lawnmower Man. From the internet to still the internet, actually, for us and everyone listening. But, the appearance of a physical form.
But the thing is, we didn't mention this on the regular episode, but I think I've been trying to will Fun 100's popularity into existence for most of my life, actually. But for the end of Blink 155, we did get Fun 100 back together for our celebrity-studded. Like when Stereo Gum was writing about it, they didn't mention that Fun 100 was on the comp, but Fun 100 covered "Damn It" for our compilation.
I think like 90% of Fun 100's actual coverage was from you writing about us, Josiah.
I know, exactly.
We discovered that his first article for Exclaim was a live review of the last show, which I just watched a video of and is very sick.
Oh, that was a great show.
I was just saying, or maybe I said it after this interview. Fuck, it's confusing timeline, but I still think that sometimes the names Kyle and Cole and get so angry that they wouldn't turn the mics on. I'll curse those names for as long as I live. I mean, they seem like great guys, but
they are great. I saw Kyle like one time, on the street or something, and we both just pretended not to see each other. We just never spoke again after that.
Sounds like real great guys.
So Ryan, we know Fun 100 got back together for the Damn It comp. I guess first, I mean, what was that like? I remember there was quite a few mixes being sent my way. There was some tweaks and it seemed like, you
get a lot of version 3 finals.
Yeah. It seemed like you really did become a band again where you were all arguing about mixes, which I loved.
Yeah, it was classic. Like no one was happy with what their part sounded like. And we also recorded it in just the most hideous, moldy practice space basement, which is true to Fun 100 form. Only practicing in places that had mold. Well, except for Adam's parents' garage, which was very, very lush.
Oh, Adam's parents' garage was so well stocked with sodas too.
Oh yeah,
it was like paradise.
Yeah, I mean, suburban parents' garages are just like heaven. Like there's like an extra fridge just full of food, and it's all like the worst food possible, like
chimichangas.
It's like a convenience store where everything is free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I guess, well, okay, before we go way back in time, let's stay in the present for a second. Abbotsford is like flood. Like we decided to do Fun 100 week on the pod, and then God was like, "Goodbye, Abbotsford. You're gone now." Like Abbotsford's like fully underwater, right?
No, yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, is it connected? I think so.
I think it is. I think it is. Like I saw an overhead image where all of Abbotsford is like flooded, and then Castle Fun Park is fine. It's like a protected safe zone.
No, the outdoor course is fully underwater.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's true.
Which is kind of fitting because there's a little like lighthouse on the outdoor mini golf course. So now they can finally use it.
Do you remember when we broke into the outdoor course with Nathan and golfed in the middle of the night and pissed in the holes?
That was amazing. I forgot about that. And now it's underwater.
Yeah, what does it mean?
There's guys. You both know what it means.
Ryan, what I want to know
you have to get out there and become part of the relief efforts. That's what it means.
It's true.
Yeah. Every cover for this episode, $1 is being donated to Abbotsford Relief.
The thing that's scary about it is I actually don't want to have to pay attention to the news and see how serious it is. So if by the time this comes out, it is very serious, then we actually meant that and we're not being flippant. And also if Abbotsford is fine, then fuck Abbotsford. I think I'll pick either of those for the edit.
Yeah, just make a note to make sure that you do this edit.
The right one.
Episode goes up.
Whichever is the right one. But Ryan, what I want to know is like, because Fun 100, I think, is from the year 2000. It's a pre 9/11 project, right?
Yeah. We started. It was like a youth group, like church basement New Year's Eve party, like the year 2000, like the beginning of this millennium. And we like, I don't know, it was like me and Bruce and a couple other people that were just like playing a piano and like a guitar in the basement. And then we were like, okay, we're starting a band. And I don't know if the name actually came up that night, but it started there, which is kind of fitting because like I think all of Abbotsford is like one big giant youth group.
It is, yeah. Now I feel like it's one big young adults group because they're all like going to microbreweries and Old Hand coffee shop. I don't think like there was nothing like that when we were there. There was Lou's Grill, and there was standing outside of city limits, not being able to go inside and listening to the band play. I think me and Jason Nicholas stood outside city limits once and listened to the Mighty Mighty Bosstones play inside, where we couldn't go in because we didn't have
listening to a band play and not being inside. Wow, is anything more grade fucking 9?
Exactly.
I listened to the Ataris once from outside of the Cool House.
So it was the year 2000, and you're like, we're going to start a band, but you obviously didn't think it was going to, like, you weren't like, oh, we're going to like reference power pop and thrift shop vinyls and like ephemera. Like, what was the initial idea of Fun 100? Because I know you were like an MXPX head, but I don't think, was it going to be pop punk?
None of us knew how to play anything. So it was kind of like whatever we could play, that's what we did. And so it was just really, really bad. Just imagine the worst band you ever heard, and that's it. I mean, like, probably more influenced by Weird Al than like any sort of like pop punk at that point, even though we all loved pop punk and MXPX and stuff, but we weren't able to like play. No one could play anything that fast.
Right. And so, was the very first lineup, did it include Robin, who I think I imagine being our age now when he was in Fun 100? Is that right? Or is he?
Yeah, actually, he was younger. I remember he was 28 when he was in the band, which seemed like the oldest age I could imagine. But like he was like the youth like sponsor or like the youth group guy. I don't know what you call someone. He wasn't like youth leader. Youth pastor, but he was like youth leader at that thing. And then I think he was the one that was like, we can practice in the church. So he would like, he had keys because he was a youth leader, and he would let us in, and we would use the like church drum kit and the church bass amp or whatever. And so that's why he was in the band, which is weird because I don't know. I mean, I think Bruce was in grade 9. I was in grade 10 or no, Bruce was in grade, I think I was in grade 10 and Bruce was like in grade 7 or 8. Like he was so little.
This 28-year-old man. And then I remember his like guitar tone was disgusting. And he was like,
his favorite bands were The Police and Black Sabbath, which is like mind-boggling to me how like those two bands, like I could see like one of them being your favorite band, but both of those, like those are your top 2 bands, made no sense.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then like then what happened? Like what happened? Did he ever play like at the Burlesque House or anything, or was he already gone by the time you started playing like actual shows?
Yeah, I think we played like a youth, like some sort of like youth group kind of show where like we played with like a couple other bands of people that were like at our church or whatever. And he played that. And then I think
he might have been in it at the Hand show.
Was he?
At Grace Church, maybe.
It's all kind of, I think we might have kicked him out by then because I think we started hanging out with like other people that were putting on shows that weren't just in church basements. And we were like, they were like, oh, you have a band, you can play this show. And we would ask him, be like, hey, we want to play this show. It's like in 3 weeks or something. And he'd be like, oh, I need more notice. I'm busy. And you're like, what are you doing? Like he can't go out. I mean, obviously, why would he go out? Like looking back, I'm like, he's so old. He never goes out on a Friday night. But like looking back, he's like, of course he doesn't want to go hang out with like a bunch of fucking teenagers on a Friday night. He wants to
in a church basement
with his wife in his house.
Right. So obviously I deal with people calling me old all the time, and I am very fucking old. And it's devastating. But I still think of Robin as being a fucking old man because I was also a teenager at this time. And what was the point where you guys were like, okay, we're teenagers. We want to like play shows and like do this as a band. We need to kick out this old man. I remember being there when it happened. I remember being there when Bruce, and I don't know why you made Bruce do it because he was the youngest.
Bruce is cold. Bruce is just like heartless.
Yes. But what was the decision? Like, we need to fire our middle-aged guitarist who likes the Police and plays through a practice amp.
I mean, I think it was like partly because we wanted to play shows, partly because we were kind of embarrassed. But like I remember he would always bring these songs to us. And there was one, this one song. Like, I wrote a song about my wife, and he starts playing this guitar, and he's like, boo doo 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 boo doo, and then he starts singing, and he's like,
yeah,
you're such a funny bunny, boo doo, you're just my honey bunny, boo doo, and we all just like looked at each other, and we're like. We can't do this.
That song is a hit.
I know, like you're wrong.
You made a huge mistake.
I see you're listening to all these like exotica obscure things all the time. Like that you missed out on what could have been like a great Light in the Attic comp or something if it was mixed properly.
I can't wait till Light in the Attic starts like reissuing weird 90s Christian music.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, there was that one, and then wasn't there something where he was like, "We really need to be political," and he wrote a song that was like, "The government."
Oh,
there's something like that.
Maybe Honey Bunny was actually political in nature.
Could have been.
It's like all of our songs are like, "Okay, I'm a computer," or like we had a song about like our bass player's internet girlfriend, and then like he's like. I think he was like, I just listened to Propaganda because he was like trying to listen to like punk rock that we liked. And he was like, and I like want to like write something political. And then he just like strums his guitar and like very moody, like the government. And that's like, I think that's as far as we got before we were like,
and then there is a song on Hit It and Quick called The Government, which is like, kind of a testament to
true.
That. So okay, this happened. You were like, we need to get rid of this middle-aged man. Honey Bunny and The Government is just not the vibe we want to do.
You made a mistake. You're like, I don't want this band to be popular.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so then Bruce, probably what, grade 10, grade 9, he had to call this middle-aged man and kick him out of the band on the phone. And I was there for that. And it was very
so
heated.
painful.
Very
he was on the phone for so long. And then
was he arguing? Like, well, why?
I think he just wanted to be like understood. Like he was like he was like hurt.
To be heard. Yeah,
he was hurt.
Yeah, which is sad. I'm sorry, Robin.
And then he called Bruce back like almost immediately, like kind of with like, and one more thing. And Bruce was like, oh, okay, all right.
And
but
it wasn't it like he wanted royalties or something? There was something like that.
And then he sent us like, I can't remember how he gave them to us, because like we were still going to the same church. Like I was still like a teenager going to church, and he gave us these like contracts for these songs we had written together, and they were like, I have 30% of this song and 50% of this song and like 70% of this song. And these are all like the worst songs written by teenagers. But he was like, some of these have potential. And I mean, I guess, Sam, you work at a major label.
I also just saw a trailer featuring Will Sasso and Charlie Murphy and one of your songs.
Oh, so but trust me, Get 'Em All is long after the Robin era from 100.
That was much later. And
still,
also,
I don't know. I feel like you kicked someone out of your band for being too sick at writing hooks and too locked in on their business. Like, so you wanted someone else you could take advantage of.
It's true.
We should have moved him into like a manager position, because we never got paid for that trailer.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let him be your manager / ghostwriter.
Yeah, like the fifth Beatle sort of scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
So I am actually curious, though. So after that, I mean, obviously the rest.
I'm really curious before we get into this, because eventually you're going to be done. What are you drinking? So we're on video. We never go on video, but sometimes with guests we show face. And it's like, is it a coffee? Is it a tiny Coke?
I bet it's like a Negroni. Oh, okay.
Wait, what would you said Negroni? Did you say it's wine?
It's a glass of wine, yeah.
No, but just in such a
it's such a nice cup. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, look at Ryan's got these amazing vintage signs behind him. It's probably got like the most
amazing vintage cup that he's drinking, presumably a lovely vintage out of.
I can guarantee that bookshelf you could just stare at that for hours. Like, I mean, Ryan is a collector of all things. And that's what I wanted to get to, is like, eventually From 100 did become kind of like more, I think, it's kind of lame to say, but more of like an art project for you, and more of a, there's collage elements, cut and paste stuff. And it also is kind of just a pile of your interests all in song form. Like, tell us about that in terms of, did you at some point think that you had figured out the identity of the band, or were you just piling up things that you thought were interesting on there?
Yeah. I mean, I think we would just like be hanging out and somebody would find something at a thrift store and bring it over, and then we'd write a song about it. It was not like super well thought out. It was usually just like inside jokes that like evolved into songs. It's not like, we weren't, we didn't really have anything to say besides like, we like hockey and we like TV shows from the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's because you kicked out the only person with anything important to say.
That's true.
We're just silencing his voice.
The government, maybe? That could have been an interesting avenue to pursue.
So, go ahead.
I still don't know what's going on with the government.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because no one's explained it in song.
And also, why are Honey Bunnies so funny? Was it funny or
funny? It was a Funny Bunny and then Honey Bunny, or maybe it was vice versa. But
honestly, years later, Justin Bieber writes "Yummy." It's kind of the same song, really. It's pretty similar.
Actually, yeah.
So A lot,
Yummy,
very
yummy.
animal focused, like sort of a proto furry type anthem.
It's true.
Oh, see, that's a market we could have tapped into.
Yeah.
So
big cloppers.
I also am curious, like, when you look back on Form 100 now, do you feel embarrassed or do you feel stoked?
I mean, I think it's been long enough that it's kind of funny. I mean, some of it sounds like so bad to me now. Like some of the songs, I'm just like, how did I think like, yep, this is good. Let's put this on a CD and send it out into the world. But some of it, I'm like, yeah, this rocks. And I mean, the shows were so much fun. I don't regret. Like, I mean, we were always like the worst at like actually planning a tour. And like I said, we had no business sense. So we'd be like book like a tour that we'd drive straight to like Winnipeg for 2 shows and then like play a show in Lloydminster on the way home and then just drive straight back from Lloydminster. And we'd be like, yeah, that was worth it. You know, we had a van that like leaked gas into the cab. And so we had to drive with like the windows open at all times, which is, it gets really cold when you're crossing the Rockies. But you know, it was fun. There was lots of like stupid things that happened that were great. And what else was I going to be doing? Like learning how to do something with my life?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. You and I are still talking about Film 100 40 years later. That's all it is.
We all just became the Jonathan Torrances that we wanted to be.
Exactly. But tell us, like, because we've kind of been talking about how Michael Moore is like the Blink-182 of documentaries and of activism. He's kind of like the gateway. And I really do think Roger and Me is his Damn It. So I'm curious, like, why you thought to write a song about Roger and Me. And like, I think it's because the cover is so iconic. You probably had like the VHS sitting out there and you're like, oh my God.
I think we watched it all together for some reason. And I don't know why we watched it all
Big
together.
time sleepover movie.
Yeah. Yeah, we were getting really political. And so of course, like, it's about like being homeless and in love, which like sounds really terrible now, but I honestly don't remember why we wrote it besides the fact that we had just watched the movie.
Fair enough. Well, the reason I chose it for the Film 100 episode, there are so many songs to choose from. One thing we've been talking about is how it has what I've dubbed a Broncos outro, similar to Leaders Are for Followers on Bam Jam, WPP. It kind of has that like that huge outro that I think was a defining Broncos sound.
Yeah, totally. That one was really like popular live. People always loved it. And we'd always like hit stuff in the middle and there'd be people like, we'd throw Bruce's like broken drumsticks into the crowd and people would like hit things. And it was always a good time. And it was, I mean, there's only like 2 verses in the song and then it's just like an outro for like the rest of the song.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect arrangement. But the other reason I was really excited is that now through my work that I do on Twitter, being a little shit all day, I am literally 1 degree.
See, I was like, work. I was like, you get paid for that?
It is no, but it is what I do full time now. So, but I am literally 1 degree away from Michael Moore. And I have a friend who knows Michael Moore and works with him regularly. And I put in the request to get Michael Moore on the show. And unfortunately, my friend
he is
currently working on something else. It was too awkward to ask of all the weeks to choose. Not only is Abbotsford flooding to the ground, but also it was a bad week to ask Michael Moore. So unfortunately, we don't get to meet Michael Moore this way. But
is Flint flooding too?
Maybe. Do you think he still lives in Flint?
Always. Yeah.
Sounds like
he probably has like a vacation home in Flint.
Yeah, stay close to his roots. But yeah, so I'm sorry I couldn't get you to meet Michael Moore. That was really my grand scheme plan.
Never thought I'd meet Michael Moore this way.
but like that line is just so funny to me because we were talking about that I think maybe coming up, but Like, I just love this assumption that everyone has some way that they're going to meet Michael Moore eventually.
It's going to happen. Do you think he's heard it?
Yeah. How does everyone meet Michael Moore? It's like the 5 degrees of Michael Moore.
Yeah. Well, also, it does seem kind of like you're confusing Michael Moore with Andy Warhol because of the next line. It's like...
Michael Moore is my Andy Warhol.
Wow.
In the future, we will all meet Michael Moore for 15 minutes.
Well, it's kind of true, though. Like, either, like, I think I already say this somewhere in this episode, so I'm sorry, everyone. But, you know, either you're going to be the CEO or you're going to be the guy that was just laid off. But Michael Moore he's the one in between, just pointing that microphone, exposing the corruption, you know?
Exposing the government.
Yeah, you really did. You actually perfectly, through this conversation, I realized this song is a perfect marriage of Honey Bunny and the government. It's both at once. I guess before you go, I don't know if you have anything contemporary you want to plug. I don't really care if you do, because I want to know, why don't you just put out a Fun 100 anthology LP finally?
Oh, I mean, I was like making a new like project management thing for Clampdown, and I used like a Fun 100 box set as like a trial run to see how the thing worked. And my boss is like, "Are you actually doing that?" And I was like, "Maybe I should."
Yes.
I'm gonna have a record press like 30 feet from my office. You can just throw
do it
on
in
there.
the middle of the night. Yeah. So I guess that could be your plug, is Ryan does now work for Clampdown Records, which is like a Canadian vinyls manufacturing plant.
We make vinyls.
Does Billy Bones say, how does he feel about the word vinyls?
I feel like he would be, I mean, I've I talked to like clients with him and stuff, like we're on the same emails, and people always say like, "Hey, my band needs 100 vinyls. How much does that cost?" And he's always very like friendly about it. So he's not going to look down on anyone. But it does get to you after a while.
Well,
people saying it incorrectly, vinyl, when it should be vinyls, right? That's right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I just don't even think about the word anymore. I'm just trying to move into the cloud now fully.
We're gonna get vinyls on the cloud.
Yeah, cloud-based podcast host.
Exactly. So Ryan, I think this might actually be the last time I ever do music journalism about Fun 100. Probably. I think
You're gonna find another way.
I've officially crossed all the stitches as I weave together these chapters of my life. It's been a pleasure talking about Fun 100 with you. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say, or anything else you want to let us know about the government or about love?
Can I actually ask? I realize, Ryan, sometimes when we talk to people from Josiah's past, he is unfairly maligned as a punisher. But you seem like someone who really knew Josiah back then. Would you say tell us something nice about Josiah's tendencies at that time that will sort of stick in his brain more than being called a punisher?
He definitely was not necessarily a punisher, but he was not
necessarily.
He was like very funny. He would always like because you go to these shows when you're like super young and you don't really know. You're like, should I like this band? And Josiah always knew. He'd be like, "This band fucking sucks." Let's go outside. Which was always like really nice, because most of the time I was like, "Okay, good."
Though that's because if any band that wasn't from 100 or the WPP or the Hand, I was like, "Fuck these guys." we're going to 7-Eleven.
Looking back, most of the bands we saw did suck.
Yeah, it's true. That's so true. Yeah, I mean, fuck. Fun 100. It was the Broncos. I think maybe we will have to talk about Fun 100 again, because I think Sam and I are now working on a movie about the Broncos.
There's a movie coming out called The Broncos. Later-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't wait. You got a Gold Bond sponsorship?
Oh, shit. That's right.
Oh, yeah. You talked about this.
Yeah, I talked about this last week for some reason. Yeah, that was something we used to do. It was we would put Gold Bond on our balls. And actually, somebody in Discord was saying since last week that's like a thing that happened at youth groups around the world. Like people did that everywhere, and it just somehow like we learned about gold bonding on our own. So
wow, it's like I don't know. It's like the closest you can get to doing drugs in a youth group.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like
involves.
I don't think I even drank a beer till I was like 19. Like I feel like all of our hijinks were always like.
You know how many beer you had. Just
1.5 beer. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I feel like all of our exploits were like just like running around a Costco parking lot or something.
Yeah, we did do a lot of stupid stuff like totally sober, which is shocking now.
Yeah, it's great though. I mean, that's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I mean it is nice like looking back and being like I wasn't wasted for my teen years, just most of my 20s.
Yeah, exactly. When it mattered most.
I'm 32 now at this point.
Yeah, I did have another question, but now I can't think of it. But I don't know. I mean, I know. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that I didn't say this wrong, but Fun 100 was named after the Funk's Foods recycling stickers, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There was just like the stickers you put on the bags of pop bottles that were going back to the depot. And I just took them because I was like, free merch, baby. And we're all Mennonites, so it's good to keep things cheap.
Exactly. I was looking up Funk's Foods to like try to find, does it still exist? I mean,
no, Funk's Foods is gone.
I guess Abbotsford might be gone.
Funk's Food. There's like a Mennonite Wikipedia. There's like and they have an entry for Funk's Foods, and I read the whole history of it. I can't remember why I found it. I think I was looking up like something family related and stumbled across it. So if you ever like have some time to kill, go on the Mennonite Wikipedia.
Is Fun 100 on the Mennonite Wikipedia?
There's no entry about the shows we used to have in the church basement, so for some reason.
That sucks. Fucking Mennonites.
Is it incomplete Mennonite Wikipedia from the sounds of things?
Yeah. Mennonite last names are really cool, like Funk and Dyck.
Friesen.
Friesen. Yeah. I mean, I think we're just going to start listing Mennonite names now. So maybe it's time to wrap it up. But
yeah, I think
Ryan,
it's time to go
thank
to
you
bed.
so much for Fun 100 and for being my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And Sam, thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
No problem. Ryan, thank you for being Josiah's friend.
Sam, this is the second last time. Actually, I think it is the last time you're going to do it. Speaking of last, because, well, I don't know if we'll do a plug on next week's. I mean, we got to plug the page. I'm ruining everything.
We'll still plug something. You know, I mean, I eat a lot of cheese, so like I'm pretty plugged.
You plug yourself into a block of cheese. So what are you going to say for right now?
Listen, here's my plug. This is it. All of the covers that you hear come from our Patreon gatekeepers, and they were all made in less than 96 hours. For $5 a month, you get the early tip on next week's song, which next week is the last time that will happen. Because after that, we got some chaos coming in December.
Yeah, you're also going to be signed up for the chaos in December. Trust me.
Yeah, which is good. Which is going to be good.
I think the Canadian rapper Chaos saw Fun 100 one time, maybe. There was some Chaos Fun 100 interaction that was very funny.
That seems possible. So for $5 a month, you get the early tip on next week's song, bonus episodes, early episodes, newsletter, and the Discord. And all of these songs will be available in full on the 155 Bandcamp on Monday. How's that?
That was amazing. So to get started, I'm really excited to hear Todd Killing's take on
this is going to be sick.
This is like some sort of like working through the pathways of my stitching things together, like bringing the present to the past, healing the inner child, because I get to hear Todd Killing's cover Roger and Me by Fun 100. Here we go.
Fuck yes.
Because like this song also, for my taste at the time, I always thought this song was a little bit garagey compared to the others, but they nailed it still by hitting the chorus so hard.
Well,
But
that's the
they're-
thing is I was like, oh, I get it. They're like, that's why I even made the Meek and Migo comparison because that's where I went. But then later on, I was like, oh no, that's not at all like really the essence of this band.
No, like there was just like it's because it was like I think they were listening to some proto punk at the time, but it's like
Right.
It is a pop punk band, but it still worked. Like I mean, Todd Killings, I also don't think of as a garage rock artist in any way. I think of him as sort of an unsung American icon of psych rock, and I think he absolutely delivered on that front. But we actually get a bonus, Todd, because he took his cover. He recorded it onto tape and played it through his 4-track on high speed. And that's how all the kids are nightcoring, right? Well, this is, not really Todd, but I'm so excited to hear Todd Killing's Nightcore of Roger and Me.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
that fucking rocks.
You know what else is like? I always thought that Foam 100 and all my friends' bands should be getting more media attention. In fact, I even wrote the Georgia Strait an angry letter because they made an offhand joke about Abbotsford. And I
that's why
wrote
that
them
guy
in-
hates you.
It literally, I think, is why the guy from the Georgia Strait hates me. Is because when I was 16, I wrote the letter. Anyways, but it's, what I'm saying is, and I said now I can just make that happen. We can listen to covers of Foam 100. It's the world is healing. Up next is Death Tent with Podger and Me, and the caption is "Hit It and Quit." We're starting 22 seconds in. Let's go.
I mean, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Oh my God. These are going to be fucking great.
Something we may have already discussed or not, I'm not sure, but like I also just love the central conceit of this song being like, I wonder how I'll get to meet Michael Moore one day.
I hope it happens to me.
in this serious context, it's really hammered home. Like
yeah, that is ultimately what this is about.
we all get our 15 minutes of meeting Michael Moore one way or another. Maybe you'll get to be the CEO or maybe you'll get to be the worker. But either way, you're going to he's the glue holding America together. I think.
He really is. It would be cool to meet Michael Moore, though.
I agree. I mean, I think he seems pretty chill. Okay, up next, Had Fun Once, Roger and Me. We're starting at 155, as we should. No, we're not. I'm going to skip ahead to 155. Oh my God. literally listening to Brave New Waves every night at the same time, so it's all.
You really get this is entirely appropriate.
This all makes perfect sense. Driving home from Bruce and Ryan's house, listening to Brave New Waves at 2 a.m. on a school night. Bone sober. That was amazing. That was so cool. I wonder how that was done, and why are people like? It's kind of similar vibes to the Todd Killings one. What's making people want to mess with?
Interesting. Yeah. Why are they manipulating in this way?
I don't. Do I have to read all these names here?
Yes.
Nick Sater, Smlay J. McLawyer, B. Left Rel, Devin Richard Suthon, Tender Howie D, Roger and BSB. We pot it this way, so I guess it's going to be a Backstreet Boys reference. Let's go.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand that. Oh, wow. Good for you.
Never thought I'd need the giver. Girls this way, and now I got my 15 minutes of fame. I'm gonna sleep on the street tonight. Yeah, gonna sleep on the streets tonight. I never thought I could fall in love so fast. And now you make my life a blast. I never thought I could fall in love so fast. Now you make my life a blast.
It's hard to turn that one off because it's like a fever dream. It's like I'm having a hallucination about life in 1999 or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
it's like
that's fair. You're like, is this what year is it? Is this part of the movie? Is this part of the Broncos film? I don't know.
because that would probably be pre-Broncos, but that I associate that song, the Backstreet Boys song, with skating around kind of the mini skating rink that was next door to Yale Secondary that had fake snow that would come. Like they literally had this. I think it was like soap or something, but they would like turn on this fake snow.
Were you just at a foam party?
It would snow indoors while you were skating. It was incredible.
Yeah,
but
I think you were at a foam party.
I mean, there wasn't enough foam to cushion the brutal falls of my inability to skate, but it was really cool. Up next, Soothing, Roger and Me. New recording 22. We're together all the time. There's also a poem with the submission. Today we chopped firewood in a strong wind that snapped new branches off the trees and tried to pull the tarp off the roof, hopefully covering that new leak. We have so many chores that need done. I play music because it is soothing. It's a beautiful day in the Gulch. That's a great poem. Thank you, Soothing. Here we go.
I was waiting in the red light. You were looking so fine. Now you are mine. We're together all the time. We're together all the time. We're together all the time. We're together all the
This is so beautiful.
Yeah, this is fucking touching.
Maybe Terrence Malick will have to direct the Broncos movie.
Yo, interesting.
Because he did do that failed music film, right? The one that Ryan Gosling stage dived for, allegedly.
Oh, I remember that. I mean, but he also produces stuff. Like he produced that Lil Peep documentary. So maybe, if he's not, he could still sort of have a hand in it ultimately if he wanted to sort of hand it off to someone else.
Yeah. I mean, it's got everything. We've lived in the Bible Belt, playing in church basements, thrift stores. It's all there. As long as you enjoy a film about like 20 white guys. I don't know if we might have to do some gender swapping and some ethnicity swapping to get
again.
to
I
get
believe it's
funded.
been done already in the nipple film.
The Plode Clark 5 is next with Roger and Me. Credit to Evan of The Real Plodes and The This for production. Okay? Roger and Me. That's a funny play on words. Giving him a good old Roger. Here we go.
This is fucking great.
This is so cool.
This is just rocking.
I never thought I'd meet Michael Moore this way, but I was wrong.
Let's go.
Now I've gotten my 15 minutes of fame. I'm gonna sleep on the streets tonight. I'm gonna sleep on
Oh
the
my
streets
God.
tonight. Yeah, yeah. I was waiting in the bread line. You were looking so fine. And now you are mine.
Fuck yes.
I mean, it's fun for you, but keep in mind, this is a song that basically only me and my friends have heard. It's, it's really fucking me up.
Yeah. This is for me. I'm like, these are all amazing covers of a great song that I heard for the first time a couple hours ago.
Yeah. It's
This is a very different experience for you.
I just want to build a time machine and go back to this time and make sure that Foam Hunter becomes insanely famous. And because I want to see what happens if everything gets ruined. If there's like mountains of blow and stuff.
What happens if they can even play the full final show?
Yeah, not because of Kyle and Cole. I'll always remember those two promoters. They were really nice guys too, and they were probably so stressed. God bless them. But I just now when I think of those promoters, I just think of that show and how they were the man. They wouldn't turn the mics on.
Yeah. You either die the hero, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Okay, Fish Tricks with Roger and Me. Fish Trick says, "Can't imagine my path as a musician without this silly podcasting community. Thanks for building up this Fisher's confidence for the past year. I am very grateful to you two fellows. I love you. Thanks, Fish Tricks. We love you too.
We love
the question marks are. It's like Anchorman. Here we go."
This is fucking awesome.
So like the song, I guess it translates perfectly into this weird, not just proto-punk, but it kind of works as like a early R&B kind of rock and roll song, as we heard. But then adding Fish Tricks' noodling to that, but still retaining some of the, like that was so insane. So many layers of happening right now.
I'm happy to have built up this fish's confidence.
I don't
well earned.
I can't tell if I feel like I need to go to therapy after all of this, or if I'm in therapy right now from doing this episode. You know,
interesting. I mean? Yeah.
Dylan Driller, Roger, and Unintelligible.
We're not quick. That would mean like I don't know. I don't think anyone here is making professional therapist money.
That's true, but maybe
you know what I mean. Like you're not paying me or any of the listeners like hundreds of dollars.
What if we started putting the pod, like uploading it to BetterHelp or something?
Oh, interesting. And we could start charging people's like insurance companies?
Yeah, because it's so long. It's like each episode is like 2 sessions.
A super sesh.
Yeah, it's a super sesh. That's what next year is going to be. Instead of covers, we're just going to have a whole therapy session.
Yeah, exactly. The Calm app.
Dylan Driller says, I had fun making this, but it came out unrecognizable. Shout out to Unentitled for writing out tabs for me. So Unentitled has been making stems for people, but now apparently just full on writing out tabs. That's amazing. Here we go.
Amazing.
Whoa.
Oh, fuck.
I love these like extreme fucking art school deconstructions.
Again, it's that Brave New Waves thing. It's just like it's coming in hot right now.
Well, I think like that, but that was like, you know, there is art kids into and in from 100, and maybe you can just tell from the album art or something, or it's just in the air. It's like silly and goofy, but also could be interpreted very pretentiously if you wanted.
Yeah.
As all the best things are. One time for any of the Christian heads listening, one time From 100 in the Hand opened for Joy Electric at Trinity Western University, and boy, were neither of our bands received very well, but that was really funny. This is Together All the Time featuring I'll See You Later, SMLBF, Day, Tender Hell, and Be Left. Here we go. Is this a different?
Yeah, this is like
it's like a spaghetti western,
chopped and screwed and screwed.
That's really cool. It kind of sounds like Salem, actually.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Witch House. I can't wait to listen to this comp. Oh boy, man.
Yeah, these are gonna be fucking sick to hear. It also says we and me, so I do wonder if we're gonna get some more we actions later.
Yeah, well, that one was submitted twice, but it does one of those submissions that does say never thought I'd meet the Keelburgers this way. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely in that chopped and screwed Backstreet Boys remix of a From 100 song featuring the listeners of a Blink-182 podcast. There will be reference to the Keelburgers and the We scandal.
Yeah, of course.
Don't worry. 20th Century, Roger and Me. Let's go.
Holy fuck.
That was beautiful. Oh my God.
I truly can't imagine what this is like for you, because these are just like gorgeous and I'm having a lovely time. But
yeah, it's great. I feel like I could retire from the pod now after this one. Maybe I will before next.
This might be it.
I know what's coming down the pipeline, and I think I'm done already. So
you're satisfied.
Yeah. Consider this my 1 week's notice. BW up next week.
It's Brian.
Sicko. Oh yeah, that's kind of a lesser. That's like the neighborhoods of the Michael Moore Blinkography. Hey, Sicko. Did anyone care about that one?
Oh, Sicko. Yeah, he goes to Cuba.
I never saw it.
That's really a lesser. That's a lesser one for sure.
I think I just like TV Nation and Roger and Me because of like the Pomo Gen X edits where it would always like flash back to a 1950s housewife with like Ren and Stimpy music in
totally.
the background.
He invented that.
He did. He really did, and ruined documentaries. Or he started us on a path that we could never.
I mean, he made people actually watch documentaries. I guess
that's true too. But
we could debate this.
Again, he's the Blink-182 of political documentary. Okay, BW Sicko. Kind of a bit more of the Hand vibe, although I wish we were that scary sounding. We weren't at all. That was sick as hell. Thank you, BW. And shout out Sicko.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Yeah, and as the person here who has seen Sicko, I feel like you really captured it.
Fawn 155, Roger and Me, only had time for 2 takes, but this one had the better length. It sure did. It's 155. Absolutely. Let's go.
I never thought I'd meet Michael more this way, but I was wrong, and now I've got my 15 minutes of fame. I'm gonna sleep on the streets tonight. Waiting on the bread line.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, outrageous.
It's like so beautiful.
Like, dude, there's whoops. Sorry, this was, I guess, all I could do.
I also think
absolutely perfect and touching.
Maybe I just know the context too well, but I do feel like the Michael Moore line right off the top almost makes it immune to being able to be taken seriously. But that one did win me over. I was like,
came close. It
did come very close because it was so beautiful and charming and earnest. Up next, Teen Jazz, Merry Xmas, Roger Smith. And this is a hardcore one. That's why, because Teen Jazz is saying, don't worry, the X is only there to signify hardcore. He's not forgotten the real reason of the season, because this is a Christian podcast, and I agree. Thank you very much. We're talking about church basements and Tooth and Nail Records. So, of course, when you say Merry Xmas, you mean Merry Christmas, but here we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to welcome you to our traditional General Motors Christmas program.
Well, it's nice to just hear a punk song.
Yeah.
Now I got my 15 minutes of fame. I'm gonna sleep on the street tonight. Sleep on the street tonight. I'm gonna sleep on the street tonight. Yeah. I was waiting in the bread line. You were looking so fine. Now you're mine. It's all the time. I never thought I could fall in love so fast, but I was wrong. Now you make my life a blast. We're gonna sleep on the street tonight.
So good.
Fuck yes. That was awesome.
Man, fuck Roger. You know, it did also, it does. Ever since I learned about grammar, I have been bothered that it's not called Roger and I. Yeah.
You should definitely get in touch with Michael Moore. Have your Michael Moore moment, but it's you correcting his grammar.
Will we all seriously get a Michael Moore moment? Yeah, like why is he? And then he says 15 minutes. Well, we've probably already asked him about it, so why am I doing this right now? Here we go, Baby Tyler. I cannot wait to hear Baby Tyler take on Roger and Me. I'm so excited. Oh. have to pause it during the.
Holy shit! Yeah.
The outro.
Well, that delivered in the way that I hoped it would.
Me too. That was just fucking. Ooh. Wow. It sucks that we don't just all die when we turn like 25, hey? Like, we got to keep going. All these things become distant memories, and you got to just kind of keep thinking about them forever.
Jesus Christ.
Like a failed football star from high school,
Oh
just
my
reliving the
God.
glory days at all times. Sitting here going on the computer.
Jeez Louise. No thanks.
Unentitled, Fun Point 2. I promise this started as a cover. Listening back, I don't know if it retained anything from the original. You know, Fun 2 is actually a new band, I think, that's coming from Nate Roos and Tom and Drew.
Well,
so keep an eye out for...
If you didn't fuck things up by talking shit on Meghan Markle earlier.
That's true. Actually, the dream is for Drew to kind of get with her instead of that Prince guy that's with her now. So that's kind of
interesting. So is that sort of the point of the Clang cast? Is to sort of try to platform?
I think so.
Platform Drew further.
Here's Unentitled. See, this would be good for the outro of the Broncos movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, for the ending. I keep thinking of everything as an outro now because of this song. This is so good.
This is going to be a really, really good comp.
Especially if you were literally just specifically me.
Yeah. This is extremely for you, and you deserve it.
My whole life has been working towards this very moment of just making this exist. And then now I'm done, basically. So the very last one, this is 155 Late Night Early Morning Core, Roger and Me. This cover feels like my life. I need to make some changes. You and me both, brother. Here we go.
Yup.
Whoa! Yes! Oh my god.
This is fucking excellent.
This is so perfect. And that's Roger and Me.